Hi guys, this is Bison, your host, and today you are about to witness one of Boris Spassky's greatest attacking masterpiece. At first, this position looks completely normal, but then Spassky unleashes some beautiful sacrifices which will literally blow your mind. Let's jump straight into the game. Okay, so game starts with b3, preparing for bishop to b2 so that he can control this long diagonal, and guys, this is known as Nimzo Larsen attack. And now Spassky takes the center with e5. He goes for the modern variation. Bishop to b2 attacking the pawn. So to defend this, knight to c6. c4. Here Larsen goes for the queenside attack, but knight to f6. Spassky just focuses on development. Knight to f3, putting immense pressure, so e4. He just advances, attacking the knight. Knight to d4, asking for knight exchange, but bishop to c5. Knight takes c6, d takes c6, e3, preparing for d4. So that's why bishop to f5. And as you can see, till now Spassky is ahead in development, whereas Larsen, most of the pieces are still in their original place. So he develops his queen to c2, but then queen to e7, and you can see in the next move he is going to prepare queens to castle queen side, but bishop to e2. Maybe he wants to castle king side, and finally, Spassky castled. And now the question is, how can white proceed from this position? Here the best move for white is to consider a3, with the idea of pushing the pawn to b4 so that he can attack this active bishop. And if, let's say, this bishop goes back, and you can see in the future these pawns can march towards the black king, but for now here the best move is f4. And the idea behind this move is to seize the initiative and launch a counter attack against black aggressive setup. And let's say if black brings his knight to g4 with the idea of giving a check from h4 square, but in this position white can develop his knight to c3 so that he can castle queen side. And let's say if queen to h4 check, then g3, and if queen to h3, and now here white can consider bishop to f1, which attacks the queen, but there is even better move, which is knight takes e4, attacking the bishop. And let's say if black goes for the rook, then knight takes d6 check. And here the best move for black is to slide this king to b8, because if he decides to capture the knight with, let's say, the pawn, that will be a mistake, because first of all, queen takes f5 check, king to b8, and then queen takes g4. And I know some of you might be thinking of queen takes h1 check, but simply bishop to f1. And clearly you can see now white king is well protected with a better position. Okay, so in the game after so let me go back. After Spassky castled, f4. And I know in the previous variation we have seen this move, but at that time it was best. But for now, this move is a mistake, because first of all, just take a look at the queen side of white. I mean, this knight is still on its original square, which basically restricts white from castling long side if there is any threat created on the king side. And also the main thing is here, black queen side pawns are not creating any threat. So basically black was better previously, but after white pushes f4, that creates a weakness around the white king, and now this gives a chance to black to attack. And Spassky, without wasting any time, brings his knight to g4 with the same idea of queen to h4 check. And guys, for white here the best move is queen to c1, which basically acts as a defender. I mean, let's say if now black continues with the check, then g3, queen to h3 with the idea of queen to g2, then bishop to f1, attacking the queen. So that's why this queen has to move. And now you can see this queen is guarding the e3 pawn, where black was we can say previously black can sack his piece so that he can open up the position, but this is now not possible due to the defense of the queen. Okay, so in the game after knight to g4, here Larsen pushes g3. So basically he just covers this h4 square so that this queen can't give a check, but Spassky just goes on. And and guys, let me tell you something, that instead of this move, here black can consider this amazing move, rook to d3. And the idea behind this move is to grab the active defender of the white king, which is currently this light square bishop. And if white capture this, then after e takes d3, you can see now this queen is attacked. And let's say if this queen goes to c3, now comes queen to e4, attacking the rook. And after, let's say, rook to f1, queen to g2, and you can see now no one can stop this mate. And to stop that, white has to lose his queen. Okay, so in the game, after the move h5, here Larsen attacks the knight with f3. But guys, in this position, Spassky plays h4. He completely gives up the knight. And the idea is, after Larsen captures on g4, h takes g3, asking for rook exchange, which obviously white can't accept, because then rook to h1 check is coming. So that's why after h takes g3, here Larsen slides his rook to g1, and now he is threatening to capture this bishop. But guys, in this position, you know what Spassky played? He sacrificed his rook by rook to h1. And the idea is to deflect the rook from the g file so that he can push g2, attacking the rook. And if, let's say, in this position, rook to g1, now I just want you all to pause the video and just try to guess the next move which black can play in this position. And guys, the move is bishop takes e3. The idea is to open up the d file so that this black can give a check from h4 square. And guys, that's a mate, because this d file is already covered by the rook. That's amazing. Okay, so in the game, after the move g2, I don't know why Larsen plays rook to f1. Maybe he might be slipped. But queen to h4 check, king to d1, and finally in this position, Larsen just grabs and he promotes a queen. And in this position, Bent Larsen resigned, because now there is no way for white to win this game, because after this, simply bishop takes g4 check, only move is king to c1, but then queen to e1 check, queen to d1, and finally queen takes d1, and that's a mate. What a masterpiece by Boris Spassky. That rook sacrifice in the ending was absolutely incredible. And the moment like that, it reminds us that why he was a world champion. Like this video, and I will see you in the next one. This is your host Bison signing off. Bye bye.